Hello there, everybody. This is Silent Mist, and welcome back to the RedCubed server. That's the last time I'm going to be able to say that, guys. Today I have a bit of an update video that I was hoping that I would never have to give. Today, I'm going to be talking about my choice to shut down the RedCubed server. Due to a lot of recent events, I feel like it is necessary and it needs to happen, and I'll be explaining why. But yeah, the RedCubed server is going to be shutting down, the RedCubed name is going to be dissolved, and the community will hopefully remain somewhat together, but no longer connected through the entity known as RedCubed. Yes, today, with a very solemn heart, I have this video that I've recorded like 4 times, and I still haven't really figured out the right way to put things because I'm still a bit bewildered that, well, not bewildered, I'm still in shock that I had to make this choice, but yes, so before I start this video, there are a couple of things I want to say. First of all, I want to address all people who might be coming with just pointless negative stuff in the comments. Really, right now is not a good time to just be posting factless assumptions based on what's happened. If you're going to post something negative and dumb, I'm just going to block you in the comments because you have no place to be making assumptions on what's happened because you weren't there. I've stated this before in other update videos when we were getting a lot of assumptions as to why people were leaving. But yeah, please, if you want to offer something constructive in the comments, by all means, go ahead. But if you're just going to be flaming because you're mad that person X is no longer a part of this community, just take your anger elsewhere. I don't have the mental capacity to really deal with it now. I'm just going to flat out block you from comments. So now that that's out of the way, also in the description, I would like to direct everyone to the description. There are going to be a couple of links. I'm not sure what all of them are going to be because I'm still not entirely sure. I have so much on my mind right now that thinking about smaller details is very difficult, but the 2 biggest things that are going to be in the description are going to be my farewell letter to the server and my the RedCubed member joining policy, the policies that all members of RedCubed must agree to be a part of the community. So yeah, those are both going to be in the description. If you are interested in reading them, please go ahead and do so. I'm going to be talking a lot about them in this video, and a lot of my explanation about why things have happened are going to be pulled directly from the farewell letter. So, yeah, if you just want to read the exact wording that went out to all the members, those are in the description. So, yeah. Like I said, I was hoping this would be something that I'd never have to give, and I don't know. Come a month ago, I never would have even thought that such a thing could have happened. Come a couple of weeks ago, I really still wouldn't have considered that such a thing could happen. But in the last month, we've effectively lost half of our server to another server and half of our community in general, and the greater majority of them are very uncertain. And I'll actually be getting to this specific thing, but I just feel like RedCubed as a community is dissolving, is falling apart at the seams. And so I've talked to a lot of people about this in a very subtle manner. Like almost everyone I talked to, actually no, everyone I talked to, I didn't specifically say, I'm shutting down the server, what's your input? But it was just like more general topics as to inquiries that I wanted to make before really making my own final choice. A lot of what I had to ask was what people thought of the current state of events, and their opinions on the problems. And this one reason is why this is the single largest reason why the server is shutting down, and it's because things got to a point of where I could not control them, and I honestly didn't know what the problem was. So, what do I mean by this? Well, I asked a lot of people, what are the current problems with RedCubed? And very few people could give me a straight answer. A lot of people said there are problems with RedCubed, but there were very, very few people that could actually give me problems. The number of people that just said, oh yeah, there are problems with the way you're running RedCubed. Okay, how? That's where it ended. Now, a lot of people have also been saying this, but a lot of people have been talking, I don't want to say behind my back is not the right term to use, but a lot of people have been talking among themselves about, like, me and the problems with me running the server. And one of the members of the server told me about this, where people were going to them and saying there are problems with the server, where someone would come to them and say there are problems with the server, and then that person would say, well, have you talked to Drew about it? And more often than not, almost every single time was just like, no, I haven't. But in the last, I'm going to be very transparent with what's happened. I'm just not going to be giving out any names because I don't want to put anyone in bad light. The final goal of RedCubed right now is to make sure that things end without backlash to the member. That is my final goal with the server. I don't want anyone else to feel the backlash other than myself. And I know I'm sort of being a little selfish in the sense that I'm saying, if you're just going to come here to post a stupid negative comment, I'm going to block you from comments. But I understand this, but you also have to understand that I am currently in a time of extraordinarily high stress. College just began for me, and to have this on my plate, this is not the combination of events that I wanted to have happened. So in the last 2 weeks, like I said before, we effectively lost half of our community. A lot of those members went to a different server. To all of you who know what that is, go ahead. I'm not going to specifically mention, you know what it is. I'm not going to specifically mention them, but a lot of our members were offered places on that server, and they took it. And I, as a YouTuber, can see the rationale behind that. But as the admin of this server, choices like that are made really hurt, because essentially the will to stay in the community that they were a part of meant nothing. If people are just going to get up and leave because a better opportunity is right there, it just proves to me that as an admin, I failed, or as the leader of this community, I failed. There's no beating around the bush. It's just like, yeah, you weren't good enough. I'm going over there, and regardless of whether or not they are right or wrong, that hurts a lot when it comes to my own personal state of mind. It's just like, oh, well, it seems like either I really failed somewhere, or these people were never truly a part of the community. And yeah, this just really discouraged me from running a server. And this would not have been a problem at all if it were something that just happened spontaneously, like, bam, 12 people gone, we'll never hear from them again. That's okay. That wouldn't have been nearly as bad as the gradual trickling out of the greater majority of our members, where you just see one person leave one day, another person leave the next day, and quite often it was nothing more than just a single message that was posted in the chat room, and it wasn't discussed with me beforehand. It was just instantaneous, and yeah, it just showed me that, oh, these people truly didn't, they weren't truly a part of this, because they could just let it go so easily. And I really don't mean this as an insult to any people who have left who might be watching this. It's just, to me, I find that very inconsiderate, just getting up and going. And I know not all of you guys did that, but A lot of the people did that, and it just, that really didn't sit well with me. And then I just watched things transpire, and I watched other things develop, and I just asked everybody, or not everybody, I asked individuals, what do you think the problems are? And then after that, I would discuss my current state of mind and my current state of thinking. And it all boiled down to, there are problems, no doubt, but what are they? Now, a lot of people have suggested problems, but they really shouldn't. They should either not be problems, or they're problems coming from nothing. For example, every time someone left, our entire chat room would be in a frenzy just trying to figure out why they left. So we'd be making assumptions, and we'd have hurt feelings. And you know what? The one thing I saw from this is that people are making problems out of nothing. Now, I've said this before, I don't like assumptions. I mean, there are times when you need to assume why things happen, but there are also times when it's very, very unfitting as to assume why things happened. And in the case of what happened in our chat rooms, that literally tore us apart. It caused so much unneeded drama and pain and just annoyance with every other member. It just put everyone in the, oh god, I need to pull out mentality, because I don't know how to put it, but it just put a very large negative vibe on the server, just seeing people leave and then discussing it, and that would further plant in seeds of, oh, maybe I should pull out now. And like I said before, if it were just something that happened where all of the people that were unsure as to whether or not they wanted to stay left, and then we were left with an initial small community that we could rebuild, I probably wouldn't be giving this video right now. But since it happened over such an elongated period of time, it just created so much undue drama and stress that there was no way to fix it. And this ties directly in with why I made my choice. This is not something I can control. I cannot control the speculation of others without imposing my own ideals onto other people, and that is something that I will not do as an admin of the server. I can guide people in a direction. I cannot force, nor will I attempt to force a people into a certain direction. Now, there are times when I will make the you have to take this choice or you have to leave, but that in itself is different from me just saying, do this, in my opinion. Now, the problem that I've had with recording this video is I've been ranting and going off topic very often, and right now I think I've done a good job of staying on topic, but yeah, I'm just slowly glancing over the farewell address. So there's no need to focus entirely on the bad. Oh, Jesus. Hi there. Hi there. There's no need to focus entirely on the bad. Granted, RedCubed did fall apart. From the server, I have seen, and I will continue to see, many wonderful friendships that have been born through the server. Granted, a lot of those friendships I can no longer associate myself with, but I can at least know that it's because of me that it was born. Now, this could sound very what's the word? It just sounds like I'm being a little stuck up right now, but to be honest, I brought a lot of people together. A lot of people brought a lot of people together, but as the admin of the server, I was able to facilitate bringing a lot of different individuals together, and with that, I can at least live with knowing that, or I can at least continue with knowing that despite the RedCubed experiment being a failure, and yes, I do mean the RedCubed experiment, this server has been an experiment to create a good environment, a healthy environment for YouTubers, and while this has failed, in the end, there are a lot of bonds that were formed that never would have formed prior. Part of my letter specifically says, where is it? I see many wonderful friendships that were born from this server, and I hope to see those continue down, but right now I no longer see a true community in RedCubed. I only see RedCubed as a stepping stone for server or other servers, especially considering the number of members we've lost to them. Now, despite losing those members to other servers, they are still together. So that's what I mean by I brought all of these people that have been brought together are able to continue together, and that in and of itself is a success. So even though the server itself fell apart, in the end, a lot came from it. And I also told all the members, you have a choice to make right now or down the line to associate yourself with me or not. Personally, I'm going to only be a Skype call away from all of them. If they want to do something in the future, they can, but I also do not... I see entirely why one might not want to do that, because Silent Mist is the guy that ran that RedCubed server that failed. If you don't want to be associated with that, I can see why you wouldn't want to be. So, yeah. Not everything is bad, but pretty much after what happened, I no longer have the desire to run servers, to admin a server, and that doesn't mean that I no longer have the desire to do this permanently, but at the very least, I'm going to need to take a break entirely from hosting my own servers on a somewhat large scale, and this is where I'm going to need to segue into an awkward topic. The public server I can attribute to being the cause of a lot of problems. Whenever money is introduced into a situation, it can create a lot of undue tension, and I know and see why, but unfortunately in the end it was what I consider to be the largest factor in the unraveling of the server and the community. Now, I never did, nor do I ever have the intention to just pick up and walk away with what we've raised. But right now, there are a couple of problems. I highly doubt we're going to be able to keep any sort of sponsorship on the scale that we're going to need for me to make my server, the server that I have thought out in my mind, a reality. I'm going to be talking with VOServe after I record this video, telling them that RedCubed is being dissolved, and I don't believe they'll let us keep the server. But even if things could work out, like I said, I am currently not in the state of mind to be running another server. So there are a couple of things that we can do right now, and I'm leaving the choice up to you guys. So pretty much we can do... There are two things that could happen, unless someone that is specifically working on the server with me has a third idea that I am okay with clearing. Right now, I am not willing to hand over the reins to anyone else, and the reason why is a bit of a selfish one, because in the end, it's all going to draw back to me. If they screw up, it's going to be partially my fault, and that's something, as selfish as it sounds, that's something that I don't want to have happen. So I'm not going to be handing the reins to someone else to take up the public server. This is my own personal choice, and there really isn't much that anyone can do to convince me otherwise. However, the two choices that I've come to conclude are, there are two possibilities with what we can do with what we've raised. Refunding, unfortunately, is not possible because what is it? Indiegogo, they take a decent percentage cut out of the final amount that we receive. So the refunds would be incomplete, and I'm not okay with only giving some people refunds and not giving other people refunds. And yeah, so refunds, unfortunately, are not an option. The two options right now are we can either donate it to a charity or we can save it for a later date. Like I said, I am not handing in the towel for good. I enjoyed running servers. Just being able to run a server is something that I very much enjoy doing. I find it fun. It's a very good way to spend time. It's a constructive way to spend time because it gives me something that I can do, something with very, very structured elements that I can do, like making sure that our permission system is working, making sure that the community within the server is functional. That's something that I enjoy very much. So I'm not handing in the towel. The other option would be to save it for a later date and to come out with some sort of public server at a future time. The problem with the public server right now is that there are two things that could have happened with the public server. We could have got it done, we could have gotten it done, or we could have gotten it completed. And what do I mean by that? By that, I really mean we could have just made a server, or we could have made the server that we wanted to truly make in the end. I had not, and I will not take the first option. I don't want to make some sort of half-ass server that is just not the end result that I want to see. So I wanted to make the best possible server, and in order to do that, we really need to focus all of our resources around making sure that the server has something that it can use to stand out. And to do that, we needed software developers. Software developers are not free, nor are they cheap, because it takes a lot of time to write plugins for Minecraft, especially when you need something on the scale of mine. So what we wanted to do was sponsor with a company so we could get the actual machine for free and put all of our resources into making the environment as great as possible. So that diminished with time. As we lost an audience, the ability to secure a server just diminished and diminished. And we were lucky to get such a great offer from VioServe. And yeah, the only unfortunate thing is I don't think we can keep that. So yeah, I need you guys to decide, do we want to just donate the money, or do we want to save it for a later date? That is a choice that you guys are gonna have to make. That was the final loose end with closing down the server. Now those two options really might go away soon, in the sense that I don't know to what extent I want to take a break from server hosting is going to be. Because, well, right now, like I said, after all the time I spent putting into RedCubed to see it fail in the way it did, it's just I need to be separated from doing that. For how long? I don't know. It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. I just don't currently have the desire to to run a community right now. So however long that's going to last, I don't know. So if you choose the second option, just know that it could be only a short period of time, or it could be a long period of time. Who knows? I might get restless very soon. I might want to put a community up just so I can be back in a comfortable spot. Like I said, I enjoy it. I enjoy running a server, and I can't seek comfort from doing something that I enjoy. So yeah, it's just keep in mind that I just need a break from doing this. The public server is most likely, for all the early access people and the build team, is most likely going to be going down for a little while. I'm going to pull all the resources from the server, and then I'll be notifying VioServe. But yeah, I don't know. This is one field where I can only claim partial fault for, because the public server was a very large group effort, and to have people pull out really hurt it. And I really don't know how to put it in any sort of unconceited way, but as people started drawing out, I saw the possibility fizzle and dissolve right before my eyes. Now, I really don't want to come off as this isn't my fault, because that is entirely false. This is my fault, but in my letter, I also state I just can't bring myself to accept it as entirely my fault anymore. The biggest thing with RedCubed was I wanted all blame to be on me. If there was a problem, it's Drew's fault. It's Drew's fault. It wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't crash at least once when recording something important, but not to get off track. If something is wrong, I want the finger to be pointed at me saying it's Drew's fault. And in the end, I truly want all of the members to be like, oh, yeah, it didn't work out because of Drew. But after the way that things transpired and the way they did, I just can't really justify blaming myself for everything, because it got to the point of where I could not control it, and there were problems that were popping out of nowhere. Now, whether or not there were other underlying problems, which there definitely were, it's just when a problem comes from nothing, I can't claim responsibility for that. When a problem comes from people not communicating with me, when a problem happens because people don't tell me about it beforehand, and I don't mean that I need to have everything handed to me on a silver platter, but I mean that if there is a problem, don't just brush it under the table, make it known, because if I don't know about a problem, there's nothing I can do about it. That's something that I mentioned multiple times, and to the end, there were very few actual problems given that should have been there. I mean, some people were saying, oh, Drew, it's your policies. And then I asked specifically what. And then there were finally, like, a couple of things where it was just like, the way that you have the policies structured, it was not good. And to that, I really disagreed with that. I genuinely disagreed with that statement, because the policies are there to ensure that everyone knows what to expect and to make sure that everyone is living up to those expectations. In those policies, the biggest points are that you need to record a certain amount every week, just so you are considered an active member of the community. You need to make sure that you understand that I am very open to your opinions, but I get the final choice in the end to decide whether or not your opinion should be carried out or if it should not. And on that note, more often than not, when things were brought up to a vote, I went with the majority. There were very few, if any, instances of a vote going up and me going against the popular choice. And then there were people that left because of things not being run in the way that they wanted to be run, despite not actively contributing to that. And to that, I mean specifically the public server and things relating to UHC. My motto with events, or my way of thinking with events, is if you are not actively contributing to it, you don't have a say in it. Or if you are not actively participating in it, you don't get to decide any sort of thing that's related to it. And we had a couple of people get really, really mad with the way the prior UHC was handled. And a lot of the people that got mad weren't even involved with the UHC. And this is kind of getting off on a tangent, which I really don't want to get off on. Stupid zombie. But yeah, I don't feel like you have a place to say something if you are not actively there and participating. And heck, all the people that were actively there and participating pretty much agreed with everything that happened or popularly voted on everything that happened. So a few people, quite a few people came off seeing me as some sort of monarchical control freak. And while I will not deny that I was very controlling in how things were run, first of all, it was made clear that that's how things were going to be done. And second of all, it's not like I'm going to rule oppressively without taking into consideration what other people said. And I honestly don't think I did. If other people think differently, then, well, there's not much I can do, and there's not much they can do to convince me otherwise, because as selfish as it might sound, it's just, that's how I saw things. And if you came, pretty much what I wanted to say is if someone came in with the understanding that the server was going to be run in a democratical form, they came in either not reading the policies or in a naive manner. Because I made sure to make it extraordinarily clear that that's how things were going to be done. And a few people think that that was the reason why the entire downfall happened, but I really have no facts to back that, and nor do they, or nor have they brought up any facts to really back it, so I really can't accept that for the reason, but yeah. So that's pretty much covering most of what's on my mind right now, the reasons as to why I believe the server failed, and some of the reasons why other people thought the server failed. In the end, it was a fantastic experience. I really have no regrets like I said before, as much as I dislike the final outcome, I have no regrets. I don't want any regrets, and for the sake of my own state of mind, I can't have any regrets. If I'm going to dwell on the poor choices that I might have made, that's only going to make the final decision worse. In the end, I didn't see a better way to remedy the situation, just because it got to the point of where I could no longer control. I failed in the sense that I could no longer control the community, and I could no longer fix the problems that were arising, because it was, to me, a sort of state of panic, a state of, okay, do I want to pull out now before the negativity hits, or do I want to see if this is still recoverable? So I do hope that you all can understand my choices. Please do know that this was an extraordinarily difficult decision to make. It took multiple days of just doing nothing but considering every last possible option. And after I spoke with people, got their input on what they saw the server as, I knew it couldn't be done any other way. To prevent hurting anyone else in the future, we needed to pull the plug. So I hope you guys can understand that. I really want to thank everyone for being active viewers of the RedCubed community and everything that's come from it. I want to thank all of you guys for supporting us. I want to apologize about the public server. I really want it to turn out as well as possible, but like I said, right now is not the time for me to be thinking about it. I really need to recover from the shock of losing this before continuing on to the next endeavor. Actually, before I continue with the thank yous and all of that, I do want to say that currently, right now, I am not a part of any new community. I'm probably going to be sticking it solo for a little while. I mean, I'll be collaborating with people. Nightmare Realms will still be happening with Code, ADG, and Fedrin. I'll be doing some collaborative works from members of what was RedCubed. Like I said, people have the choice whether or not to associate themselves with me anymore. To those who want to, I'm going to be doing collaborative work with them, but I'm not going to be joining any official community yet. As with hosting servers, I need a break from it. I don't know how long that break is going to last, but I will most likely be looking for another community to join, just because collaboration really truly is a very, very healthy thing to do on YouTube. Because not only does it let you meet new people, but you really help one another out by doing work with one another. So, yeah, no communities for a little while. How long depends on if and or when I find one, and or if I will be ready to join one at that time. So, now that that's over, back to the thank yous and whatnot. I really have no way to thank you guys who will continue to support us. Like, I can't put that into words. It's just such an honest feeling of thanks to all of the people that will continue to support both myself and all the other members after what has happened. And I really, truly want to thank everyone that has been a part of RedCubed in any way, shape, or form. You guys gave me an amazing 1.5 to 2 years of fun. Just a lot of people before RedCubed I've known beforehand. Like, let's use the Nerd Herd for example. I knew them way before RedCubed, and it's been a good time. I very much, through all of the highs and lows, I very much enjoyed spending time with everyone. It was amazing getting to know everyone, and a lot of people I consider as second family, even though I've only met a couple of them. To all the people that really supported us throughout all this time, like, especially in terms of the public server, there is no way for me to express my thanks, and I can't do much more right now than to offer my sincerest apologies and to offer you guys those two choices as to what to do. So I guess in the end, the only thing to say is thank you, everybody, for doing what you've done up until this point. The server is officially going to be shut down probably tomorrow, and the server itself will be dissolved officially on February 10th. That's when our renewal period is up, and that's when I will no longer be renewing our payments. So yeah, that's going to be the technical final day of the server. And yeah, like I said, this choice was one that I did not want to make. This video was a video that I've been dreading to make, and I had to record it. This is I don't even remember how many times I recorded it to make this final version that you guys will be hearing. So once again, thank you, everybody. This has been Silent Mist. This is RedCubed. It's been a wonderful run, and I'll see you all again in my next video. So, until then, thank you and farewell.